the way you move, the way you talk to yourself, the way that you sound when you're talking to other people, the way that you think. All of this combines into the way that you feel and the person that you are and become. Your thoughts affect your emotions, which affect your physical behavior, which drives your character. If you want to find yourself or conquer yourself in terms of depression and pull yourself out of whatever rut it is that you're feeling, it needs to start within. When it starts from within and you become conscious of your thoughts and your thought patterns, you can then begin to change your negative thought patterns into positive thought patterns. Now, what does that even mean? Well, every thought that we have is a vibrational frequency that gets pushed out into the universe. That's which we possess is that which we push out into the universe. And so if we have nothing but negative thoughts and negative self-talk and negative belief systems that have been solidified in our neural pathways in the brain over the course of however many years that you've been feeling this way, then you are doing nothing more than just putting out negative energy into the universe, and you are thinking negative thoughts, feeling negative emotions, and then therefore behaving in a negative manner that is inconsistent with the true self, the most max potential version of yourself possible. So by consciously, this is the hard part, by consciously recognizing the fact that, hey, look at that fat piece of shit over there. No, maybe I shouldn't talk like that. Maybe I should correct myself and say that that person is an individual and they're somebody who deserves love just as much as the next person. Then you are consciously beginning to rewire the neural networks in your brain. It's called neuroplasticity and neural pruning. Neuroplasticity is when you repeat a new behavior enough times to where the new wires in the brain start to begin to manifest themselves and they mold, and then you actually prune the old behavioral habits, the old patterns in the brain into basically just becoming dead, and you don't behave that way anymore. That's how change takes place. All humans are capable of changing. We're designed to change. The way that the brain works is we're designed to change. So when you begin to rewire the neural networks in your brain through conscious intervention and by telling yourself, oh, I shouldn't be negatively thinking about the asshole who just cut me off and how he's a piece of shit and I hope that he dies in a car accident, but instead say to yourself, man, that person's life must really be horrible for them to be behaving the way that they are while driving. It's really dangerous and reckless, but I'm going to take the appropriate steps to keep myself and my family safe, and I'm going to go ahead and just gain some distance from them. When you make those types of changes, you're changing that thought pattern, that's changing your emotional states, changing your behaviors, which changes your emotional state. And so now you can begin to constructively build upon that system where every negative thought you have, you stop it, you cut it off, and then you correct it with a positive thought. And this isn't like immediately going to make your life amazing and feel better. No, it's very difficult to stay true to this path, especially if you've been thinking this way for an extended period of time. The amount of time that you've been thinking or behaving in a certain way, it's probably going to take 3 times the amount of time before it's actually all completely gone and broken up. But there are ways to accelerate that and to change your behavior. It's through emotional development. So when you can emotionally incentivize yourself or create or elicit the feeling of emotion from within you for the greater purpose. So for example, I don't want to be a shitty dad and a shitty husband. And so that thought of my son looking at me as like a piece of garbage elicits an emotional response in me to where now I am on fire and I am focused all day long in changing all of my negative thoughts and my negative behavioral patterns. Why? Because I want to exemplify love and strength for my little boy. I want to exemplify love and strength and kindness and care for my wife. I want her to feel everything within me that comes and radiates from my heart. I want him to look up to me and to live, to reach that maximum potential of his true self. And so that emotion then solidifies those neural networks in the brain every single time that you make that change that much faster. There's a whole science base behind it, and how, when we look at things and we visualize, think of every single emotional experience you've ever had in your life. You probably remember them. You don't remember the non-emotional experiences, and it's because the chemicals, the neurochemicals produced whenever you experience an emotional situation or circumstance, it solidifies those neural networks in the brain much greater at a much more rapid rate. It's based off of survival. So change your negative self-talk. Change the way that voice in your head sounds. Make it a deeper voice or a higher voice. Have it talk slower. Move slower. Change your physicality. Go to the gym. Work out. Raise your vibrational frequency. These are all the little niche things that end up compounding and compounding over the course of days, weeks, months, and then, yes, eventually years for the rest of your life. And that's what makes the difference, and that's what gets you out of whatever rut it is that you feel like you're in. Pulling the trigger and being a bitch and hurting everybody else around you, because people are going to care. Sure, there's probably a handful of people out there who have nothing to give, or nobody cares about them. Not nothing to give, but nobody cares about them. But those are the people who are facing the most adversity, who always have the greatest stories to tell and the greatest message to send, and have the most to give to everybody else who is struggling. Because when we are able to rise up from the bottom of our own despair, then we show other people it's not that bad, and that if we could do it, anybody else can do it. When you change the way that you talk to yourself, and when you consciously intervene with those negative thoughts, it intervenes with your negative behavioral patterns, which intervenes with your negative emotions. Servitude to other people will always be the greatest thing that you could do when it comes to your negative behavioral patterns. Service in the way that you think about other people, service in the way that you feel about other people, and then service in the way that you behave towards and for other people. That's going to be the best way. It's going to give you the most momentum to stop feeling sorry for yourself and stop feeling depressed and stop hating your life and your life circumstances, and ultimately find the beauty that is absolutely present around you, but even more importantly, within you. The beauty that you emit into the world, the light that you shine and reflect and radiate, because you do. We are all made of energy. We are all made of matter. We are all made of the same material that stars and the dust in the galaxies are all made from. We are all one living organism combined in separate entities and different appendages. You have a lot to give. You absolutely do. I love you all. Take care, and remember that. Intervene with that negative self-talk. Destroy that negative self-talk. Destroy that negative behavior, and destroy your negative emotions.